Shalom Yisrael, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give Kol Halal Yahweh, Ba'Hashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. That is to say, all praise to Yahweh, in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai being the name of the man that the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Back with another Torah Monday. Once again, it's come around quickly. Here we are again. Going to be touching on usury today, what it is, when we can and can't use usury, do usury. But first, of course, the opening precepts, as always. I want to start with Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 17. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 17. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies, and his statutes which he hath commanded thee. And this is a commandment, so it's not just enough to keep the commandments. You have to do it diligently, making sure you're keeping the commandments, making sure that clothing isn't mixed fabric, making sure that food packaging, the ingredients are saying, hey, not saying it's got swine or crustaceans. I was looking at, I don't really eat instant noodles anyway, but I was looking at some instant noodles, the ingredients, and it said crustaceans. It could contain crustaceans. I'm like, what? Why? Bro, everything is stacked against us in this wicked kingdom. They're trying to make you sin, right? Because you might even say, oh, chicken flavored, cool. If you wasn't diligent, you would have eaten that and not known that it could contain crustaceans, which are not lawful. Why the hell have chicken flavored noodles may contain crustaceans? What kind of may contain crustaceans? Like what? Like they might do, they might not. I don't know, it's up in the air. What? Why may it contain crustaceans? For what purpose? It doesn't make sense. It does make sense, really, because let me just, on the fly, just get Judith. This is a classic. Judith chapter 5, verse 20. Okay, I believe this is a Moabite speaking. This is heathens anyway taking counsel against us. This is part of that crafty counsel that you'll find in Psalm chapter 83. Okay, this is Judith chapter 5, verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, as in if this people make any mistake, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. So the heathen even understand that if we're sinning, it's our ruin, because the Lord is not going to defend us. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai is not going to defend us, right? That's why we fell to Babylon. That's why we fell to Assyria, because he didn't defend us. Remember, the battle is the Lord's. King David tells you that, right? He tells you that in 1 Samuel. This is before he was a king, Salakia. 1 Samuel chapter 17. Okay. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 17. This is when David is speaking to Goliath, right? This is 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 45. Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, Salakia. Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defiled. Salakia, whom thou hast defied. Salakia, not defiled. You can't defile Yahweh. This day will Yahweh deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth. Now notice he said that Yahweh's going to deliver you into my hands. He didn't say, hey, I'm going to do this myself. He said Yahweh will deliver you, right? And watch this. He says, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth, that Yahweh saveth, not with sword and spear, for the battle is Yahweh's, and he will give you into our hands. See that? The battle is Yahweh's, and he will give you into our hands. So these heathens, right, they understood that if we sin against the Most High, it's going to be our ruin, because he's not going to defend us. It's only when he defends us when we're going to win. We can't win by ourselves, right? So these heathens understand this. So that's why they said, if there's going to be an error in this people, if they make a mistake and sin against their God, let us consider that it's going to be their ruin, and then we can come up against them and overtake them, because the Lord's not going to defend them. And it goes further to even say, but if, this is Judith chapter 5, verse 21, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God before them, and we become a reproach before all the world. So they understood that if we're obeying the Most High, He's going to defend us, and there's nothing they can do to defeat us. These heathens understand this, so that's why you need to be diligent in keeping these commandments, because I always make the example that the work week, right? You work 5 days, more time you get paid on a Friday, right? You've been at work all day, all week, Salakia. It's getting to 5 o'clock or whatever time you finish on a Friday, and you're starting to get that Friday feeling, right? Where you want to go out, you just got paid. Maybe you just bought a new outfit. You've been working all week. Now it's the weekend. You can finally get to your time, to what you want to do. So Friday rolls around. You finish work. You just got paid. You got that new outfit waiting for you at home. Now you go out on the Friday night to the club, and not only are you committing all kind of abominations, getting super drunk, trying to commit adultery with women who have husbands, or just even acting a fool out there, but you're breaking the Sabbath day too, because the sun went down on Friday and you're out partying. Because that's how they set this thing up. Saturday is the last day of the week. Okay? But that's how they set this thing up, right? They set it up in a way where you're going to sin if you don't diligently keep the commandments, right? Same way. What the hell do these chicken-flavored noodles have to do with crustaceans? Why is there Why may it contain crustaceans, right? There's no function for that. The reason why they do that is because they're hoping on some dumb Israelites not checking the damn ingredients, thinking, oh, it's chicken noodles. There's nothing. You don't think, oh, it's chicken noodles. It's chicken flavored noodles. There can't be anything abominable in this because it's chicken. It's chicken flavored noodles. Lo and behold, you check the ingredients, it has something abominable, because they're banking on you not being diligent. So that's why it's not just that we're commanded not to eat those things, or that we're commanded to keep the Sabbath day, or not to wear mixed fabric. We're commanded those things, but we're also commanded, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 17, we're commanded to do it diligently, right? Not just to do it, but to do it diligently, to put some real effort into it, to make sure we don't sin, right? Deuteronomy 6:17, ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies and his statutes which he hath commanded thee. So we need to be diligent about it, right? You need to make sure you're keeping the commandments, right? You need to examine yourself. Did I sin? Hey, was that a foolish thought? Did I speak lewdly, right? Was I just hating my brother? Hey, was I kind of coveting just then when I was looking at his car and thinking, I wish I had one of those? All these kind of things. Oh, I was kind of lusting after brother's wife. I was kind of desiring her a bit. These things, man, you need to be diligent to make sure you're not doing them, right? Now let me get my second opening precept, then we'll kick it off. This is Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, another classic. Joshua chapter 1 verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Now that doesn't mean that you can't speak it. It means that it should always be spoken of. It should not depart out of thy mouth like something that you just take it out and throw it away. No, you got to keep it in your mouth. You got to keep speaking the word of it. Now, it's not saying every single second of the day, every conversation, speak about the law. But it's saying like just speak about it all the time. You always need to be talking about the law, right? Because that way it's going to be in your mind and it's going to be part of your routine. It's always going to be at the forefront and you're always going to move in it, right? That's why we're commanded in Deuteronomy chapter 6 to speak of it when we sit us down, when we rise up, when we're sitting in the house, when we go out, right? When we're lying down. But basically, it's just saying speak about it all the time, because this is our heritage. This is how we should live, and this should always be at the forefront of our lives. It's not just something that we do in the background now and then. No, this is how we live. So you should always be speaking about the law. It's not saying every conversation has to be about the law, but he's saying that it should be a constant thing where all day you're making mention of the law, because it needs to be in the forefront of your life to make sure you do it. What he's going to tell you that. It says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. So if you talk about it every day and every night, you're going to observe to do it, right? The same reason why we wear fringes. We wear fringes so that we can follow the Lord, right? So that we can trust in him with all. Let me just grab Proverbs, right, and give some understanding on this verse, this classic verse, because this is part of it. This is part of meditating in the Lord day and night, right? This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. It says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. So first of all, trusting in him with all thine heart, it doesn't mean your heart, your blood pumping organ, it means your mind, right? Trusting him with all of your mind, right? Because, let me get Jeremiah, another classic. We've got to bring these classics out. I know it gets tiring hearing them over and over again, but hey, we got to really drill this thing in. This is our heritage, man. This is how precept upon precept works. You've always got to be constantly going over it, going back and forth, even with the classics. Oh, I know that one. I hear it all the time. Hey, the more you read it, if you read through a book and then you read somewhere else, then you come back to the book and you read again, you will get a different understanding. You'll get more understanding, and something will just kind of stick out that didn't stick out the first time, right? You get a new understanding on it as you grow, right? As you grow in something, you start to branch off into other areas of it, right? As you grow as a footballer, right? You're playing football, right? Or as Americans call it, soccer. You got the ball between your feet. Hey, the more you practice control, right, the more apt you are to perform a trick, right? Because you've got control of the ball, and now you can start to learn this new trick, right? The more confident you are at accurate passing, hey, you get a better understanding of how to direct the ball with force. So you get better at shooting, right? Or crossing. It's the same thing. As you start to improve at something overall, you can improve in different areas of it. It's the same thing with the scriptures. As you grow elsewhere, when you come back and read, you can apply the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you gained elsewhere, and it changes the game, right? So that's why we go over these scriptures all the time, and that's why I want to give understanding to this Proverbs chapter 3. That's not always given. It's not some deep understanding. It's not amazing, and it's not my wisdom. The Most High obviously speaks through us, but it's nothing profound or nothing. But I just want to give understanding on that verse because it ties in with the fringes. Because the law, don't let them tell you the law is not important, because the law is wisdom. It's all throughout the Bible that the law is wisdom, right? So when we read these books of wisdom like Proverbs, it's pertaining to the law, right? So when we read Proverbs 3 and 5 through 6, you know, Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, hey, we can deal with the prophets like Jeremiah. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 6, hey, we can take that back to Numbers chapter 15 with the fringes, right? And we're going to do that in a second here. So remembering that you've got to trust in the Lord with all your heart. Your heart means your mind. It's not, you can't trust with this organ. How's that work? It's with your mind, right? Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So the heart is deceitful, right? Your heart tricks you. Your mind plays tricks on you, right? Like I made the example, maybe someone didn't text you back for about an hour or two, and now you're thinking of the worst. Hey, have they fallen out with me? Are they in an accident? Are they okay? Is something going wrong here? And your heart starts to trick you, right? Lo and behold, an hour or two later, they text back saying, oh, sorry, my phone was on charge. I've been downstairs, making dinner, eating dinner, and washing up. Sorry, it took a while to get back to you. Now your heart's at rest. It's, oh, my man was playing tricks on me. And that's just a simple example. There's more wicked, extreme examples. But the heart is deceitful. Your mind deceives you, right? It's above all things, and it's desperately wicked. Our minds are constantly thinking wicked things. We have to rebuke our thoughts every single day, right? We have to rebuke our mind every day because our heart is desperately wicked, right? It says, who can know it? I don't know what you're thinking. You don't know what I'm thinking. You can't read somebody's mind, and don't let Esau's little science fiction get... You can't read minds. You can't do that. No one's going to know what someone else is thinking about, right? It says, verse 10, the Lord searched the heart. I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing. So he knows what's really going on up here. You can fool everyone else. You can behave this way and that way, but really you've got some kind of malice in your heart. Well, he knows about that. So he's the righteous judge who can give you according to your ways, right? According to the fruit of your doings, right? Because your actions start your heart, start your mind. So he tries the reins. Yeah, no man can know your thoughts, but he can, right? But the fact of the matter is the heart is deceitful. And that's why in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5, it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine own understanding. So we have to deal with his understanding, not our own understanding. We have to deal with the understanding that he gives to us, right? So that's why we've got to trust in the Lord with all our heart, with all of our mind, all of our might. We have to trust in him, right? And verse 6 says, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. How do you do that? That's exactly what your fringes are for. So that you can acknowledge him, and he's going to direct your path. So let me say like this. Imagine you have a problem with stealing. And a brother leaves 20 pounds on your table before he leaves by accident, right? And you've got a problem with stealing. That's something you've dealt with in the world. Now you're looking at that 20 pounds and you're kind of getting wicked thoughts. Your heart starts getting deceitful and desperately wicked, right? But you decide to trust in the Lord with all your heart. You look down at your fringes and they serve their purpose. They serve their purpose, and the function that they're made for is fulfilled. You look at your fringes and now you're convicted in your mind because you think of the Lord. And you think, he's watching me. Yahweh Shai is watching me. There are angels recording my every doing. If I steal that 20 pounds, I'm guilty. If I call my brother up and tell him to come back for it, or I bring it to him, that's a righteous thing and that's pleasing to the Most High. You are now at a crossroads where you have to make a decision. So if you, it says, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him. So when you're about to make a decision, am I going to steal it? Am I not? Acknowledge him. And then you are convicted. You have to, unless you're just wicked, you have to think, no, I can't steal. The Lord is watching me. You acknowledge him by looking at your fringes, and it reminds you to acknowledge him. Think about him, the fact that he is watching you right now. It says, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. See that? So you're now going to, if you acknowledge him and you're not choosing to be wicked, he's now going to direct you to do the right thing. Because you trusted in him rather than your own understanding. Thinking it's okay. Oh, brother's not going to miss 20. He's not going to miss it. You know, it's not that bad. No, it is. It's theft. You stole from your brother, right? So you acknowledge the Most High by looking at your fringes, and then he directs thy path, right? Salaki, I don't mean to make this introduction too long. Things is just flowing. So, but we are still going to get Numbers. We are still going to get Numbers, chapter 15. And then we'll get back to that Joshua, and then we'll get straight into it. Salakia. I don't mean to make this too long as an introduction and take away from the lesson. But where understanding is, we have to give it. Right, so this is Numbers chapter 15, verse 37. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them, which means command them, that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them. So you look at them, you acknowledge the Lord, and he directs your path. Right? You look at them, you remember the commandments, all of the commandments, and you do them. Right? That's why we wear fringes. It says, and that ye seek not after your own heart, your deceitful heart, you trust in him with all your heart instead. You seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring, that ye may remember and do all thy commandments, and be holy unto your God. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. I am the Lord your God. Right? So basically, that's why we wear fringes, and that's how we got to trust in him with all our heart. Right? But getting back to it, and tying that back to Joshua, what I said all that to say was, if we meditate in the Lord day and night, and it's always at the forefront of our lives, then we have to live by it, because it's always fresh in your mind, and you're gonna just grow in the law and just understand it better and do it better, and you're gonna perform better in the law if you meditate therein day and night. But if you just read the law every couple of weeks, once a month, you're not going to be too strong in that, right? Same way, if you play football, once every couple of weeks, you're not going to be as good as someone who's training every day, And that's just basic understanding. That's a worldly understanding. Yeah, it is wisdom according to the Bible, of course. That's what we just dealt with. But even in the world, you can understand that someone who plays 8-ball pool every single day is going to be better than someone who plays down once every 6 months. It's just a fact. So if you meditate in the Lord day and night, you're gonna observe to do it all, right? We'll read the verse again. Joshua chapter 1 verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, and thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. So why do we do this Torah Monday? To exhort brothers to study the law, to understand the law better, and to be in this law, right? Because it's going to make your way prosperous, and the more you study the law, the better you're going to be with it. And that's why I do these Torah Mondays, to constantly be teaching the law and have the law as an important part of the week. This is the second day of the week. Okay, the second day of the week. So it's like a reminder. Hey, throughout your week, be studying the law, right? So you need to be studying the law every day, right? Even if it's just a little bit. Every day, study the law, right? So getting to the scripture, the law in mind, I want to start with Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 19. Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 19. It says, thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Now what is usury? Usury is like what the banks do, right? You take out a loan for £10,000, but they want 12,000 back because they add interest to it. That's usury, right? So put that into terms now, like you sell your brother, I don't know, you sell him some food, you sell him a plate, right? Let's say you charge him £10 for the food, right? Or you lend him, let's say you lend him, let's just say you lend him £10, right? But then you say, hey, I want 12 back. You can't do that. You can't do that to your brothers, right? You can't do that to other Israelites. What you lend, the 10, that's what he pays back. No more, no less, right? That's what he pays back. You do not add interest onto that. You don't, even if you can't even say, give me back £10, 1 pence. You can't even go, it's not even like that. You can't even do a little bit. What he borrowed is what he pays back, right? It says, thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. So you can't, even if it's just a shirt, hey, I'm giving you this shirt, but I want 2 back, right? I'm giving you this food, I'm giving you these potatoes, I'm giving you down this seasoning, but I want 2 back, I want 3 back, right? And every week you don't give me it back, it adds another one on. So, hey, I'm giving you £10, I want £20 back, and every week you don't pay it back, it's another £10. You can't do that to your brother, right? Verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it. So to the other nations we can lend upon usury, right? Hey, I'm giving you 10, but I want 20 back. We can do that to Elam, we can do that to Edom, we can do that to Moab, we can do that to Ammon, we can do that to Ham, we can do that to Japheth, we can do that to Ishmael, we can do that to all these other nations, right? But we can't do it to Israel. We can't do it to our own people. We can do it to other people, but not to our own people. We can charge them interest, the other nations, but we can't charge our own people interest, right? It's like you. Just waiting for this plane to pass. And this is a great time as well to understand the issue of strangers. A stranger doesn't always mean a non-Israelite, right? And we're going to see that in a second. So here, in this context, yes, it means a non-Israelite, right? But when we go to Leviticus chapter 26 chapter 25, verse 36. Right? Chapter 25, verse 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor, and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, that he may live with thee. So if thy brother, right? Who's thy brother? Thine own people. Your brother is your people, not the other nations. Your brother is your people. And he's saying that your brother, even though he's a stranger or a sojourner, right? He's waxing poor. He rolls into town. He ain't got a house. Hey, brother, you can stay with me until you get on your feet, right? So this stranger is an Israelite because it's your brother. The strangers who we can lend usury to is the other nations, because we can't lend usury to our brothers, to our own people. See that? So there's two different kinds of strangers, right? In the law, when you read in the law about strangers or elsewhere about strangers, there's two strangers. The same way there's two Gentiles, there's two strangers, right? So that's that issue, just briefly touched on. But here we go, verse 36. Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. Right? So you can't charge him so much money that you're starting to profit and to increase, right? You can't lend to him with usury. Hey, I'm gonna give you this food, but when you're back on your feet, I want double back. You know, I'm gonna let you sleep in this bed, but when you get back up on your feet, I want 2 bed sheets. No, you can't do that. Hey, I see you haven't got much. You only got the clothes on your back. I'm gonna give you some of these clothes, but I want triple the amount I'll give you when you get on your feet. No, you can't do that, right? You gotta let him live with you in peace. Okay, you can't lend to him with usury. Right. Now we're gonna finish it off. Salakia with Exodus chapter 25, verse. Exodus chapter 22, verse 25. It says, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. If thou art all take thy neighbour's raiment to pledge, thou shalt deliver it unto him, by that the sun goeth down. Oh, Salakia. I only needed verse 25. It says, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. So the same thing, once again, just drilling it home. Because the thing is with Israel especially, we need repetition, because we're stiff-necked. So we need this repetition. That's why throughout the law, hey, you already said this in Deuteronomy. Oh, Salakia, by the time we get to Leviticus, hey, you said this in Exodus. By the time we get to Deuteronomy, hey, you said this in Exodus and Leviticus. Why are you going over this again? Well, it's different details to it, right? Different circumstances, and we need the repetition, right? We need repetition, right? That's why we study the law day and night, repetitively. That's why we talk about it all day, repetitively, because we need repetition to drill it into our stiff-necked, hard-headed, concrete-brained, damn skulls, man. That's why we need repetition, right? So that's that. The understanding here: do not lend to your brother with usury. Don't charge interest to your own people. The heathen, fair game. Your people, no. Don't charge interest. No usury, right? I think that's everything. So with that, I want to say, Kal halal la Yahweh, Bahasham Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, Shalom.